How you doing? Welcome to March. Here we go. Third month of the year. It's come around quite quickly, although I'm looking for a bit more springtime weather that does not seem to be apparent in London today, but we can work with it. I feel like the nights are getting lighter. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Today I want to talk about your month ahead. It's a really good time to sit down and give it some thought. And this doesn't have to be a really serious process. This can be something very straightforward with a pen and paper that takes 10 minutes. And even as I say that, quite often sometimes things come up of like, well, I'm not really a planner, or I just don't know what's around the corner, or I don't know, does this stuff even work anyway? But for me, even taking 10 minutes, which is exactly the amount that I took this morning, it made me feel more focused. It made me get really clear about what I wanted. It helped me, I'll take this one to my therapy session. It made me feel important in my own life. I think sometimes we're caring and we're doing all the things for all the other people. And, you know, I've just had a call from the school of saying that my son has been kicked in the head by another child. He's fine, but it's a lot. Sometimes it's a lot. So just taking 10 minutes for yourself to think about what this month is for you. And I'm going to talk about this book, which I have been using. It's just a plain, actually it's not a plain, it's a dotted notebook from Paper Chase, but I think the company is Agenzo, so I think you can get them online and things like that. But I really like it. It's got a great feel to it. It's got a nice kind of soft thing, so papers are not going to fall out. But I really begun by writing down some words for this month ahead, what I wanted to feel and what I wanted to sort of embody going forward for the next 31 days. And often when I think about that, you think it's going to be some like beautiful experience, some spiritual things coming through. It wasn't. Like, I literally started by saying, I don't want any more snot, no more sickness, no more like, mom, I'm tired, all of this stuff. Like, I want some sleep. I want some health and well-being and vitality. That's what I'm really sensing. And if it wasn't absolutely flipping freezing out there, I would be opening the windows today. I would just kind of be welcoming in those sort of springtime vibes. So to remind you, I guess, in the first instance, that goal setting and calling in what you want doesn't have to be a dramatic experience. It can be you literally saying on a piece of paper, right, enough's enough. Let's see if we can do that. Or sometimes I'll write things down like, okay, that bag that you kindly put together for the charity shop, it now needs to like go out the door, not just be next to the front door. You need to do something with it this month. And that's a really good place to be. There are a couple of other things, and maybe you have this in your business as well. I sometimes then go to the things that I can quantify. Then you're in the right place. You're in the right place. So I go into things that are quantifiable. And one of the things that I usually do is the stats for my podcast. So I usually set a goal that I would like to achieve in terms of podcast downloads, which is really tricky actually, because I still haven't figured out, even after 5 years, what works and what doesn't. And it's really hard to kind of set a goal that you're not necessarily in control of, because sometimes I have weeks and months where the views, the listens rather, just go up and up and up. And then other times, like, it's just so slow. So in January, I got thousands of views, and then February, like 1,000, significantly less. So what I do is then I write down what that goal is. And here is the magic thing that happens for me, well, helps me rather. It's a really great visual. So I'm going to just use the example of 100. I would create a 10 by 10 square and with kind of little cubes within it. And so as I see that number going up throughout the month, I colour in an extra cube. This works brilliantly for income as well, if you're looking to stretch yourself in terms of a money goal and to really notice what's coming in for you. Colouring in like a cube every day, that is going to be really great for you as well. Another thing that I like to do is I sometimes just think about my life and stuff that I want to make a priority this month. And I often find it really motivating for the two things to run alongside each other, actually. So if I set my income goal and then I write down the kind of things that I want to do or buy or save for or consider this month, I will write them down there. And I write them very intentionally. I write the ideal thing that I absolutely want. I don't just put like, I don't know, the first thing that came to my mind was like a moisturizer. I write down the one that I want, because also I've fallen into the trap of also buying the cheaper one that doesn't suit my skin, that I wear once and then my whole face blows up, and yeah, it's a complete waste of money. So I always make sure I write the ideal thing down. And sometimes that means that I have to save. Sometimes that means I have to budget for it or forgo something else. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think, being intentional and going forward in that way is it's all part of the process. So I then will, with each thing that I want to do, I will write a little square so I can tick it off. I can think about things. I wrote a book goal for this year. Last year, between 40 and 41, I read 40 books. Since November, I've read 3. So if I'm going to match my reading habit, anything like last year, I need to read some more books. So I'm going to prioritize these. And so as I'm writing these things down, not only am I revealing to myself what is really important, I'm committing it to a book that I can then refer back to whenever I need it to. So this book for me is really great because I've got loads of like cutouts and things that I put in there, and then I put my goals in for March. And sometimes if I'm feeling uninspired, or like last week, oh, excuse me, I've got hiccups. Last week we had hardly any sleep in this house, and I know when I don't get great sleep, I find it really tough trying to get going or to feel uplifted or motivated or any of those things. And yet you have to be able to deliver that sometimes. The work still needs to be done. And so even sitting down with 5 minutes with my book, of almost reminding myself, what is this all for? Why am I doing this? What's important to me? It helps me to prioritize and get really clear on those things. So I just wanted to share those things with you today, and really fast forward, allow yourself to visualize and fast forward to this time at the end of the month. So what do you want to shift or change or adjust between March the 1st and April the 1st? Over the next 31 days, what do you want to see as noticeably different? I do not buy into the fact that things, you just ask for stuff and suddenly something drops in your lap. I think you have to meet the universe halfway if that's your kind of, you're into manifesting or things like that. I often tell this story that when I used to live in my old house, we lived on a really busy junction. And it was one of those junctions that, there were so many bumps and scrapes there, because people, you could see them like coming up to the junction going, I have no idea which way I'm going. Oh my goodness, is this left? Is this right? Or going back on themselves. It's dangerous. It's a really dangerous junction. Anyway, peeking out the window, I would sometimes see people seeing their friend on the other side of the road, and they'd be like, hi. And the other person would be like, hi. And then they realize that actually they couldn't say anything else because they couldn't hear each other. And so after a lot of fervent waving and big thumbs up, they just parted and they went about their business. And I always used to think, just watching them out the window, just one of you cross the road. One of you move into the island bit, meet halfway, because you'll be able to be in conversation. It's literally right there. Just move your feet and go closer. And that's how I see goal setting and making it real and making it happen, because you have to do the action as well. You have to keep moving forward, and you have to be really clear about what it is that you want, where you're going, and what's it all about. So I hope that's been helpful today. A few places that you can go next if you want to find out more about goal setting. You can go to the program section of my website, nikiraby.com/programs. That's a really good place to start. Also, you can book a strategy experience with me. So we have some time together. I'm based in London. We meet face-to-face or online, and I really help you with this process, figuring out what your version of success is. If you need a bit more motivation, focus, connection, reminding like what you're doing and where you're going and what's it all about, go to the Big Energy Plan. That's a really great one in the workshop section for getting things off the ground, and it's a really lovely pick and mix that you can choose from and say, yes, I was, no wonder I was struggling in that area, or no wonder that felt really tricky because I wasn't connected to it, or it's not actually what I want to do. So there's so much good stuff in there. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, for listening, for being part of this. I wish you every success for March, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.